Good evening, everyone. So after a long time, I'm again putting the video on alpha blockers, that is anti-adrenergics. Hope it will be a useful session for you all. If it is, please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, that is Dr. Niti Kahan's Pharmacology Kit Discussion. So now I'm going to discuss with you the alpha blockers, anti-adrenergic drugs. First of all, alpha adrenergic receptors, alpha 1 and alpha 2, what is the function when they are stimulated in the sympathetic nervous system is stimulated? When alpha 1 is stimulated or alpha 2 is stimulated, what is the action in the iris? There will be mydriasis in alpha 1A. Trigone constriction, increased resistance to urine flow, because there will be urinary retention will be there, and there will be increased resistance to urine flow because of trigone constriction. And in vas deferens, in seminal vesicles, and in prostate, there will be ejaculation. Alpha 1b, the blood vessels, there will be constriction of blood vessels of skin, mucus, and splanchnic. And also there will be increased blood vessels of the systemic circulation, increased blood pressure. This is how there is in the sympathetic nervous system, spinal cord, there is mydriasis. In lungs or in the bronchioles, there will be dilatation in heart rate, there will be increase in heart rate, blood vessels will be constricted, gastrointestinal tract will be relaxed, means there will be constipation, bladder, there will be relaxed, and uterus will be relaxed. And alpha 2, they test the presynaptic at the both at the presynaptic receptors. These are present as the presynaptic receptors as well as the postsynaptic receptors. These are present. And in the presynaptic receptors, they will act as the brake, means they will inhibit the release of noradrenaline. So there will be hypotension in the presynaptic neurons. And in the alpha 2 blood vessels, there will be in the postsynaptic, they will cause vasoconstriction. Juxtaglomerular apparatus, they will reduce renin release, and in pancreas also they will reduce the insulin release. Now, differences between alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors are that alpha 1 receptors, basically these are post-junctional, and the alpha 2 receptors, these are pre-junctional. And they can also be present in the post-junctional in brain, pancreatic beta cells, in blood vessels and platelets. Functions of alpha-1 receptors will be, they will cause the stimulation of alpha-1 receptors. So there will be vasoconstriction, contraction of the smooth muscles. Glands, there will be secretion. Gut, there will be relaxation leading to constipation. Liver, glycogenolysis will be there, and hearts, increase in heart rate, palpitation, tachycardia, leading to arrhythmias. And in alpha 2, there will be inhibition of the norepinephrine release, leading to decrease in the blood pressure. There will also be at the postsynaptic receptors, there will be vasoconstrictions, and there will be decreased central sympathetic blood flow, leading to antihypertensive action. They will decrease the insulin release, and platelet aggregation may be caused by alpha 2 receptors. Selective agonists are phenylephrine and methoxamine. Alpha 2 agonists are clonidine. And antagonists are alpha 1A receptors, alpha 1A, 1B, both acting on 1A and 1B. They are prazosin, trazocin, doxazosin, olfazeusin. These are the prazosin, zosin type of drugs, alpha 1 receptor antagonist. Alpha 2 receptor antagonist is zohembin. And how they act is they cause a stimulation. So there will be GQ type of the G protein coupled receptors, leading to stimulation of IPG-DAG pathway, phospholipase A2 release, leading to prostaglandin release. And the alpha 2 is the inhibitory type of presynaptic receptor. So it will lead to decrease GI or G naught type of the G protein coupled receptor, leading to decreased cyclic AMP, increase in the calcium channels, that is hyperpolarization will be there. and calcium channels decreased, and it also expire IP3DAG, the post-synaptic receptors, take by stimulation of ionositol, triphosphate, and diacylglycerol. Now, alpha blockers, these are reversible and irreversible, or selective or non-selective alpha blockers are there. Non-selective are those which act at the both alpha-1 and alpha-2 receptors, and they are equilibrium type and non-equilibrium type. These are reversible is the irreversible is the phenoxybenzamine, and reversible is the phentolamine and uh, tolazolone. And the non-selective alpha-1 and alpha-2 receptors, there is derivatives, ergotamine, ergotoxin, dihydroergotamine, phentolamine, tolazolone, and ketanserin, chlorpromazine. These are all non-selective alpha-1 and alpha-2 receptors. Selective means which act on the alpha-1 receptors, alpha-1 only, not acting on the alpha-2 receptors. They are prazosin, doxazosin, tamsulosin, and alpha-2 are the zohembin. The difference between this non-selective and selective is that they non-selective, they act on the alpha-2 receptors, so they will be blocking the alpha-2 receptors, leading to increase the release of the noradrenaline, which will lead to tachycardia and palpitations, which is the side effect of the non-selective alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors. They will lead to tachycardia, palpitations, arrhythmias as the side effect. But selective, they do not have this action. They will not have the reflex tachycardia or palpitation as the side effect. Plus, selective, they have the side effect as the postural hypotension. Means first dose effect, means when we give the alpha-1 receptors, so they will be block the alpha-1 receptors, so there will be vasodilatation leading to first dose hypotension, which occurs earlier. Afterwards, there is tolerance to this effect. And that's why these drugs are given at bedtime in the elderly patient who are having the benign hypertrophy of prostate as well as hypertension. In those patients, these are given at bedtime, and they lead to decrease in the fall, leading to decreased fractures. And so at the bedtime when there's hypertension, they can fall asleep, and so there will be limitation, there will be decrease of the side effect of the postural hypertension in these patients receiving alpha-1 blockers. Now, effects of alpha blockers will be that they will cause the blockage of the vasoconstriction. So there will be vasodilatation, which will lead to pooling of blood in capacitance vessels, and there will be reduced venous return and reduced cardiac output. Postural reflex is interfered, means there will be vasodilatation, so there will be marked hypotension on standing, dizziness. This I've already told you. The alpha-1 receptors are responsible for dizziness, syncope, postural hypotension will be there. And blockage of alpha-2 in brain, they contract the hypotension. Means we block the alpha-2, that can lead to increase the release of the noradrenaline. So increase the release of noradrenaline will lead to increase in blood pressure, so they can counteract the hypotension. And they block the adrenaline pressure effection. Beta-2 action remains, decrease blood BP. Means the adrenaline, they have the biphasic effect, that is alpha-1 and beta-1 receptor stimulation will lead to increase. And once the receptors, the adrenaline gets metabolized, it stimulates the beta-2 receptors in the low concentration, and it will lead to vasodilatation. But when we give this alpha blocker, it will block the effect of alpha-1 receptors, so there will be direct vasodilatation, leading to reduction in the blood pressure. That will lead to vasomotor reversal of tail. Dale's phenomena is biphasic response, and reversal of tail is when there is vasodilatation by the adrenaline because of action of the phentolamine or tolazolone, which are alpha-1 receptor blockers. Reflex tachycardia, they can cause reflex tachycardia. I've already told you, by stimulation of alpha-2 receptors, they can cause reflex tachycardia, decrease in the BP, increase in the noradrenaline because of the alpha-2 receptor blockade. This is how effect of IV adrenaline on BP is there. This is the alpha effect. This one is the alpha and beta 1 receptor effect, and this is beta 2 effect. And when we block the effect of the, when there is alpha effect is blocked, that is Thales reversal. When we give the alpha blocker, the alpha receptor will be blocked. This will be Thales reversal, leading to decrease in the blood pressure because of beta 2 receptor stimulation. And the other effects of the alpha blockers will be that there will be nasal stubbornness, means there will be nasal congestion, blood vessels of the nasal mucosa will be dilated, vasodilation of the nasal mucosa leading to nasal stuffiness, and there will be blockade of the eye muscles leading to miosis, contraction of the sphincter pupillae muscle leading to miosis. And this intestinal motility will be increased because there will be constipation will be reversed by increased diarrhea, partial inhibition of sympathetic influences. Tone of smooth muscle in bladder, trigone, sphincter, and prostate is decreased by blockade of alpha-1 receptors. So tone will be reduced, sphincter and prostate, and bladder, trigone. So there will be relaxation leading to increased urine flow, and BHP is improved. Impotence, contraction of vas deferens and the related organ which result in ejaculation are coordinated by alpha. Means there will be ejaculation will be reduced in the vas deferens and related organs like seminal vesicles. So there will be impotence. Hypotension produced by the alpha blockers, and they reduce the renal blood flow and GFR. They will reduce the renal blood flow. Hypertension will be there, so renal blood flow will be reduced, GFR will be reduced, which will lead to sodium and water retention, leading to increase in the blood volume, leading to precipitation of congestive heart failure. Side effect will be palpitation due to alpha-2 receptor blockade. Alpha-1 receptor blockade will lead to postural hypotension, nasal blockade, loose motion, fluid retention, and there will be inhibition of ejaculation leading to impotence. No effect on adrenergically induced cardiac stimulation, bronchodilation, and vasodilation. Metabolic changes are mediated through beta receptors. Now, beta 1 receptors are not involved, or beta 2 receptors are not involved. So there will be no effect on the cardiac stimulation, bronchodilation, vasodilation, which act through the beta receptors. Irreversible non-selective alpha blocker is the phenoxybenzamine. It cyclizes spontaneously to highly reactive ethylamine intermediate, binds covalently to alpha blockers, irreversible or non-equilibrium competitive block. It binds covalently to the alpha blockers, and it is the competitive inhibitor. Veins are more affected than arteries. Blockade is slow. It is slow acting. This phenoxybenzamine is the slow acting, slow onset, and longer duration, longer acting. So it can be used in the pheochromocytoma treatment, phenoxybenzamine, because it is longer acting. And plus it is used in the treatment of severe hypertension. So these can be used, and in the severe hypertension. And so this shifts blood from pulmonary to systemic circuit, and fluid shift from extravascular to vascular compartment. And it is the preferred route of administration of the phenoxybenzamine is IV. It is lipid soluble. It penetrates the brain, mainly excreted through urine in 24 hours, accumulates in adipose tissue on chronic administration, and its dose is 20 to 60 milligram per day orally. 1 milligram per kg per hour slow IV diffusion can be given. And it is used in the pheochromocytoma, in which there is severe hypertension, and long-acting antihypertensive has to be given. So phenoxybenzamine is mostly preferred, or it can be given in secondary shock or peripheral vascular disease. Tolazolin is the reversible non-selective alpha blocker. It is also given in the severe hypertension. So it is given in the clonidine withdrawal or in cheese reaction, which are short acting. So it is blockade is modest and it's short lasting, and the short lasting effect has to become in cheese reaction and clonidine withdrawal. So we use tolazole. In those cases, it is direct vasodilatator and stimulates the heart. Also blocks serotonin receptors, histamine like gastric secretagogue, and acetylcholine like motor action on intestine. Side effect: nausea, vomiting, cramps, diarrhea, nervousness, chills. These are the side effects of the stolazole. Tachycardia can be there, or there can be exacerbation of MI, or there can be peptic ulcer. There can be exacerbation of MI, or there can be peptic ulcer. And it can be used in peripheral vascular disease and pulmonary hypertension of the newborn. Reversible non-selective alpha blockers, phentolamine. It is the most potent alpha blocker than the tolazole. Venodilatation is more than the arterial vasodilatation. And duration of action is shorter. I have already told you these are short acting, so these can be given in cheese reaction and clonidine withdrawal. It blocks alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors, so they increase the noradrenaline release. It can be given in intraoperative management of the pheochromocytoma. 5 milligram IV BP falls by 25 diastolic blood pressure and 35 systolic blood pressure. Hypertension due to clonidine. Clonidine is the drug which is the alpha-2 agonist and is used in the treatment of hypertension. It acts by pressing the brakes, means it inhibits the release of noradrenaline. And when we give the clonidine, there will be inhibition of the noradrenaline. So there will be more upregulation of alpha 1 and beta 1 receptors. And whenever we stop the clonidine suddenly, there will be abrupt increase in the alpha 1 and beta 1 receptors, and there will be more hypertension can occur. A lot of increase in the heart rate and increase in the blood pressure can occur. Hypertensive emergency can occur if we withdraw the clonidine suddenly, and in those cases we give this drug phentolamine. Cheese reaction is the reaction which is given, is the reaction when the patient is taking cheese which has the tyramine, which is a sympathomimetic agent. So basically in the GIT, there is MAO is present, and this MAO metabolizes the tyramine, so it does not act by increasing the hypertension. Hypertensive emergency is not there, because in the GIT, MAO metabolizes the tyramine, which is present in the cheese. But when we withdraw the cheese, when we give the MAO inhibitors in case of depression, so the tyramine is not metabolized by MAO. So in these cases, tyramine increases, levels increase in the body that can lead to sympathetic stimulation leading to hypertensive emergencies. And in those cases, we can give phentolamine. Dermal necrosis due to extravasated IV noradrenaline or dopamine, that in those cases also we can give the phentolamine given subcutaneously as local infiltration. The reversible or the selective alpha-1 blockers are the drugs which are given in the mild to moderate hypertension. And these are highly selective alpha-1 blocker. Alpha-1 is 2 to alpha-2 ratio is in the prazosin is 1000 to 1. And fall in BP with only mild tachycardia it causes, and dilates arterioles more than venules. Postural hypertension, I've already told you, alpha 1 blockers, prescriptions, they have the postural hypertension first dose effect. Minimized by lowering by starting the doses with low doses, and they are given by bedtime. And also inhibits the phosphodiesterase, increases cyclic AMP in the smooth muscle. So effective orally, bioavailability is 60%. Highly bound to plasma proteins, acid-1 acid glycoprotein, alpha-1 acid glycoprotein. These are highly bound to plasma proteins, prazosin. Metabolized in liver, primarily excreted in bile. Half-life is 2 to 3 hours. Effect lasts for 6 to 8 hours. It is basically used as the antihypertensive agent. And it's left ventricular failure when it is not controlled by diuretics and digitalis. Then we give this drug, prazosin. And in Raynaud's disease, that is in vasoconstriction, peripheral pooling of blood, and in vasoconstriction of the extremities leading to due to cold. In those cases, it causes vasodilatation, and benign prostatic hypertrophy acts on the alpha-1 receptors. And in the prostatic urina, it leads to relaxation of the prostatic urethra, blocking the contraction of prostatic urethra action. So leading to increase in the urine flow. It can be given in benign prostatic hypertrophy. Trazodone and doxazocin, these are long-acting, half-life 12 to 18 hours. And they are congener of prazosin, prostatic apoptosis promoting, and used in hypertension and BPH as the single dose. Tamsulosin is uroselective, means there are two types of alpha-1 receptors, alpha-1A and alpha-1B. Alpha-1A acts at the prostate and or at the urethra, bladder base or prostate, and alpha-1B is present in the blood vessels. So this is the alpha-1A blocker. Basically, it causes the relaxation of the prostate and bladder base, and it does not act on the blood vessels, so it does not causes the vasodilatation of the blood vessels. So the blood pressure changes does not occur by this patient, by this drug, tamsulosin. His partial hypertension is not seen, and reflex tachycardia is not seen. And half-life is 6 to 9 hours. And modified release capsule, 0.4 to 0.4 milligram can be taken orally, efficacious in treatment of BPH. Side effect is there can be retrograde ejaculation, dizziness, and floppy iris syndrome in the eye. Bunazocin and alfuzosin, these are orally effective alpha-1 blockers similar to prazosin. Alfuzosin half-life is the 4 hours, 2.5 milligram TDS or 10 milligram sustained release OD. Contraindicated in hepatic impairment, metabolized in liver. Bunazocin slightly longer half-life, primarily used in BPH. Tamsulosin, I've already told you, its action is basically in the bladder and the prostate, and there's no change in blood pressure because it does not act as the 1B receptors, which are responsible for partial hypertension and tachycardia. No increase in adverse cardiac events, partial hypertension, dizziness. Alpha-2 blockers are zohimbin, and it is having and idazoxin. These are having no clinical role, basically. And ergot alkaloids are non-selective alpha-1, alpha-2 blockers. These are ergotamine, dihydrogotamine. These are combinative alpha receptor blockers principally used in migraine. Uses are these alpha blockers are given in pheochromocytoma. And in pheochromocytoma, phenoxybenzamine can be given in inoperable and malignant tumor and orally for 1 to 2 weeks post-operative IV during surgery. And due to circulating catecholamines, blood volume is low. Blood shift from vascular to extravascular component. Alpha blockers, they normalize blood volume and distribution of the body water. Handling of tumor during surgery may cause outpouring of catecholamines in blood, and there may be marked rise in BP. So phenoxybenzamine can be given in these situations. Hypertension. So alpha-1 blockers and alpha-1 and alpha-2 blockers, phentolamine, phenoxybenzamine, these can be given in the severe hypertension in case of clonidine withdrawal and cheese reaction. And in mild to moderate hypertension, we can give the drugs like prazosin, doxazocin, tazobactam, alfuzosin. And in severe hypertension, we can give phentolamine and phenoxybenzamine. Benign prostatic hypertrophy is the enlargement of the prostate gland, which is seen in the elderly woman. And there is contraction of the urethra, which will lead to the center of the prostate, which will lead to decreased flow of urine from the bladder to the urethra. And it can cause urine to back up in the bladder. There can be urinary retention and leading to urinate frequently during the day and night, dribbling after urination, excessive urination at night, sense of incomplete bladder emptying, urge to urinate and leaking or weak urinary stream. Means all these symptoms can occur because of retention of urine. They can be dribbling, they can be urgency, they can be excessive urination at night, they can be uh, incomplete bladder absence. So also common incontinence or sexual dysfunction. This is the normal bladder prostate gland. This is the how there is a enlargement of the prostate and there is contraction of the urethra, enlarged prostate gland leading to BPH. These are the receptors which act. M3 are present in the bladder. Alpha receptors are present in the bladder, and 5-alpha reductase enzymes. 5-alpha reductase enzymes act at the prostate level, and also the alpha receptor are present at the prostate bladder base and prostate. Phosphodiesterase enzyme also present in the prostate and in the bladder. They cause the stimulation cause contraction of the bladder. Here alpha 1 receptor stimulation, they cause the relaxation of the bladder. So in this way, 5 is alpha reductase enzymes. When they are stimulated, there will be more formation of dihydrotestosterone, which will again cause the growth of the prostate. The static component is the increase in size of prostate. The testosterone gets converted to dihydrotestosterone by the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, and this dihydrotestosterone is responsible for growth of the prostate. And when we inhibit the 5-alpha reductase, there will be no formation of dihydrotestosterone, so there will be decrease in the size of the prostate, which is given by the 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. Finasteride is a drug which decreases the size and growth of the prostate, thus releasing the BPH. Dynamic component is relaxation of the urethra and bladder tone, increase in the bladder tone, contraction of the bladder. That can be relieved by prazosin. They decrease the tone. Voiding symptoms are also relieved, like hesitancy, narrowing of stream, increase residual of the urine. Prazosin, doxazosin, tamsulosin, this can be given as the OD dose. Peripheral vascular disease, in the Raynaud's disease, in Buerger's disease, where there is vasoconstriction of the extremities due to cold. So they can cause the vasodilatation of these arteries and blood vessels, other capillaries and veins. So increase the blood flow to the skin and muscles. And this can be given, this is controlled by prazosin. Vasodilatation action is the short-term symptomatic relief in the congestive heart failure. Long-term use can lead to water retention, salt and water retention, and which is the disadvantage. Secondary shock, shock due to blood or fluid loss is a secondary shock, which is accompanied by the reflex vasoconstriction. And this reflex vasoconstriction can be contracted by increasing the tissue perfusion and fluid replacement, shift blood from pulmonary to systemic circuit, and fluid returns from extravascular to vascular compartment, and the cardiac output is increased. In migraine, ergotamine, which causes the vasoconstriction of the cerebral blood vessels, leading to reduced headache, that can be ergotamine can be effective. In papaverine or phentolamine induced penile erection, we can give the alpha blockers. That's all for alpha blockers. I hope you understood this lecture. And if you have understood and you are happy with the learning, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel